In this episode of Homes with Purpose, let me ask you something that might make you pause. What if the homes you are selling or developing today are already out of reach for the people who need them most? This is not just a statistic or a policy headline. This is a reality playing out in cities across the country, where affordability and accessibility are in a constant tug of war. I want you to think about the impact of every zoning decision, every financing choice, and every community meeting you attend. How many of these decisions are shaping communities or simply filling portfolios? Let me tell you a story. A young couple reached out to me last year, both essential workers living paycheck to paycheck. They technically qualified for several affordable housing programs, but long waiting lists, bureaucratic hurdles, and neighborhood resistance meant that even though they met every requirement, the door remained closed. I remember the frustration in their voices as they asked, "Why does qualifying not equal access?" That question is the heart of today's conversation because it forces us as professionals to confront the systemic gaps in affordable housing. So, what does this mean for real estate professionals? First, it means we cannot rely on old definitions of affordability. Housing costs are rising faster than incomes in most markets, and what counts as affordable on paper often fails in practice. Second, it requires an understanding of the financial tools that can make or break a project. Tax credits, layered financing, mission-driven funds, and partnerships with government entities are no longer optional. They are the difference between a stalled project and a community thriving. Third, it challenges us to step into community conversations early and authentically. Opposition is not a nuisance, it is data. It tells us where adjustments are needed and where we can build trust to make projects sustainable. I have spoken with leading experts who echo these challenges. Policy analyst Dr. Anna McCarthy reminds us that legislation can open doors, but execution lags behind. Multifamily finance executive James Liu points to new loan structures and capital flows that make projects feasible that previously were impossible. Urban planning specialist Samira Lopez emphasizes that community engagement is not just a checkbox, it is the foundation of long-term success. These voices are a roadmap for professionals looking to build both impact and returns in affordable housing today. If you are in this field, it is essential to recognize the pitfalls. Assuming that affordable automatically equals accessible is the first trap. Over-reliance on a single funding source is the second. Ignoring the community until the last minute is the third. Avoiding these pitfalls is not just about protecting your project, it is about protecting the people who will live there and the communities that will grow around them. Let me share a tactical tip. Start by mapping actual affordability in your target markets. Do not rely on outdated averages or government definitions alone. Layer your financing strategically, engage community leaders early, and keep a close eye on legal and ethical obligations. Every zoning variance, every trust fund application, and every neighborhood meeting is part of the ecosystem that determines whether a home is truly affordable and accessible. We are at a pivotal moment in real estate. Federal, state, and local policies are aligning, capital is moving, and public-private partnerships are thriving. But none of this will succeed without professionals who are willing to think creatively, act ethically, and listen deeply. As someone passionate about smart housing and community development, I encourage you to step into the conversation. Evaluate your projects not just for profit, but for purpose. Share your insights with colleagues, ask tough questions in your local boards, and challenge assumptions about what best practices really mean. Before we wrap up, here is something to leave you with. Every decision you make in real estate ripples through communities, incomes, and opportunities. Affordable housing is more than a project type. It is a commitment to shaping neighborhoods and lives. The question I leave for you today is this. Which side of impact do you want to be on in the next 5 years? Share your thoughts, stories, or strategies with us and your peers because the conversation is as important as the action. Get involved. Start the dialogue. Step into the spaces where real decisions are being made. Be the thought leader who helps bridge the gap between vision and reality. Every home, every community, and every decision counts.